Gentlemen, congratulations on your new film, King Ivory.
Gig, what's up? What's happening, man?
It is all good. I mean, I love a John Swab film because, he does all these great, gritty crime films, out in his backyard in the Midwest. But let's hear it from both of you first. Is what initially drew you that you want to be part of this project? I'll start with Michael.
You're looking at him right there, man. James Badgedale, a phenomenal actor and amazing person. Yeah, that guy right there. I have known James from before, and then when I saw his name on the cast list, I was like, yes. And then the treat, Ben Foster, Melissa Leo, George Carroll, Rory Cochrane, Ritchie Coster, Will Stone, our DP. And then I met John Swab for the first time. And within 5 minutes of speaking to this guy, I knew he was the real deal. He had lived, he was an addict himself. He was talking from a visceral place, but also from a cerebral place. And the character was like a modern day pirate, a man who walked at the beat of his own drum, who also was moral. And to find the cracks in that really powerful beast of a man and find a humanity in it was a challenge that I welcomed, So it was a no-brainer for me.
How about for you, James?
What excites me is when filmmakers are passionate about their work and they're telling the story because they have to. This has to be told, and this is John Swab's baby. This is his story. This is the culmination of a lifetime of different experiences, and then you take in his film history, and the window opened up for him to do this film, and look, we went down to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we did this movie for no money of two cameras handheld. This was run and gun with a great team of actors and a great creative culture. And you need that creative, positive culture when you're telling a story that is as dark and as difficult as this one.
James, tell us more about playing this character for yourself. What I love about him that he gets into conflicts within his own family, between duty and protecting his family in this case, but his family is the reason why he's on this mission.
Yeah, I that was really my focus here, and that's where I was trying to figure out what is the story that I have to tell here, and it's scary out there. It's scary out there to think about what your children are exposed to and what is out there in our society. Um, it's different from when I was younger. I have two young boys at home here. I don't know what they're going to be dealing with in 10 years, so the focus for me was on that side of the story and the the element of my son's drug addiction.
Absolutely. Michael, one of the things is, you playing this character as in its own way as a villain. John tries to like humanize this character, not to be like another caricature of like of the cartel by introducing like family or like on the more sensitive side where he actually has a heart. Can you talk more about humanizing a villain in the case in a John Swab's movie?
Well, I mean, personally, in any project I play, I don't think of things or any character as a bad guy or a villain or a good guy. I think to reduce the rhetoric to this is a good guy, this is a bad guy, generally makes for boring cinema or boring stories. Because what's interesting is the gray zone, because that's where the conversation really happens. And in this particular character, the way in was that can you guys hear that sound, by the way?
No.
Can you guys hear that drilling? No? Okay, good. And in this particular character, it's the humanity, it's the love he has for his children, the mentorship he has towards the young kid who finds himself caught between the border, and the compassion he has for the innocent lives lost. I think this guy's ex-military, and he's a man with a conscience who's decided to go rogue because he finds both sides to be corrupt. And I won't spoil the story, but towards the end, he comes about to his humanity, and has a sobering up moment.
For both of you, how did you prepare to do like these, training for these action sequences in a John Schwab's movie? I mean, he does have some intense action, but as a indie action, you have to be like very on your game for something like this. James, why don't you start with you?
No, exactly. Listen, like you're dealing with a situation where independent films have less time, less money, right? So when you're doing that, you kind of got to expand your game. You have to be even more on point, even more prepared, even more diligent, paying attention to safety, paying attention to these little things. Um, we had these SWAT dude. We had first of all, we have a great stunt team. We have a fantastic Justin Parks was our stunt coordinator. We have a great stunt team, and then we had some of the SWAT team guys with us on their days off, and they'd come and these guys are having fun. They do it for real, and so now they get to do it in the movie, and um, it- those moments are important because you could say, hey, wait a minute. What about this? And break it down to specific things. What is this entry like? What is this exit like? What are your fields of fire in this circumstance? Busting down doors of donkey kicks, which is reverse, kick it back that side, and look, that's to take a step away from the seriousness of the story that we're telling. I love doing stunt work. I love making movies, and that's the fun stuff for us.
What was the question? The physical preparation?
Yeah, yeah, prep.
I got into a really good shape physically for it. This character was ex-military, and we were really lucky that a lot of the stunt guys and stunt coordinators were actually real SWAT and ex-military guys. And they informed you, and we had time to practice with between sets, just like James is saying. We didn't have a lot of time, but you'd show up on set and go in the parking lot and just work out. For example, there's a scene where my character gets shot in the right shoulder, and although I'm right-handed, they taught me to shoot with my left hand and to switch, and that was a very military moment. So you condition, prepare, and then you consult with the experts. I think it's the combination of both of those extremes: solo work and then teamwork.
Absolutely. Well, let me wrap it up with one last question. It's because this is Graham Greene's one of his last films, and I'm not sure whether either of you actually had like a direct, scene with him. I think James probably have a much more direct scene, but can you both comment about Graham's last performance here in this film, if you had a
James,
chance?
I'll let you tell that story. That beautiful story you have.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell this little story. For the last scene, we were working in a working prison. Michael was there earlier in the day doing that incredible fight scene, and we were out of time, and we're going into the room where we're on the phones through the glass, the visitation room, and we have 45 minutes left to shoot, and we get in the room, and we realize that the you can't hear each other over the phone. There's a prisoner code. You have to be incarcerated to get a code. You type in your code, and then the phone comes on. There is no general code. So the corrections officers were like, hey, listen, we can't help you. This is what it is. I looked at Graham, and he's on the other side of the glass. And John was on that side of the glass with Graham also. And Graham looked at me and just calm as cool as can be. He just got a little smile on his face and he just kind of nodded. Like, let's go. Let's do this. Let's do this. I looked at John. John said, looked at me. Okay, let's go. Let's do. And so we did that entire scene without being able to hear each other. And it was amazing. It was a beautiful moment when two actors are trying to communicate and we were able to listen to each other in kind of a different way. And we had to be on a similar wavelength there. And I just have nothing but gratitude for that man, for the time that he spent with me for that short amount of time. And it meant something to me. And obviously, when we're working together, we don't know where we end up, and that we'd be sitting here today talking about this in the way that we're talking about it. But what an actor. What a man, what a brave man.
Yeah, that's a beautiful story, James. He was a trailblazer. You know, people sometimes see someone's success and they don't understand what they must have gone through and endured. He really is a trailblazer, and he's opened a path up for so many people. And we were all honored to have had him in our film, you know.
We're all honored to watch his films and his career, honor his career. So, Michael, James, thank you very much for speaking to us about King Ivory.
Thanks,
Thank you,
kid.
Jake.